ladies and gentlemen, as you can see.
Oi! Hoje a gente vai falar de posse. Afinal de contas, tudo que é meu é seu. Tirando o meu chá. Meu chá é só meu. Aqui eu falei o mesmo pronome meu 4 vezes. Mas se eu fosse dizer a mesma frase em inglês, eu precisaria de 2 formas diferentes do pronome meu, my e mine, para passar a mesma ideia. E se eu for um pouco mais longe e quiser dizer a frase she is a friend of, que em português é ela é uma amiga do fulano, como é que eu falaria? She is a friend of my or a friend of mine. She is a friend of her or a friend of hers. Vamos ver em inglês. So, today we're going to be looking at the words my and mine, which are both possessive pronouns. And to understand better how we use them, we're going to have a quick look at a group of words called pronouns. Now, what are pronouns? Pronouns are words that we use to refer to other objects in the sentence, and your listener will know what you're referring to, either from context or because you've mentioned it before. And we use pronouns all the time to avoid repetition, which we call redundancy. Now, to illustrate this point, we're going to be discussing this cup of tea here. Now, careful, the tea is hot, don't touch the tea. Now, in this example, we're repeating the use of the word tea twice, and it's in this situation that we use the pronoun it. It is hot, don't touch it. And you know what I'm referring to from context because I'm holding the tea here. Now, in this example, we're using it to refer to the tea. And in this example, we have 2 clauses, and we have it in 2 different positions. In the first clause, we have it coming before the verb, and we call this type of pronoun a subject pronoun because it comes before the verb, and it does the verb, and we have a specific form, which is I, we, you, he, she, and they. Now, in the second clause, we have it coming after the verb, and we call this pronoun an object pronoun, and it has a different form. So that's me, us, you, him, her, and them. Now, there is another group of pronouns that we call possessive pronouns. And a possessive pronoun shows that something belongs to us, like an object, or that something is associated to us, like a friend or a colleague. So we have 2 types of these possessive pronouns. We have an adjective form and we have a pronoun form. Now, to give you a simple example, my tea is the red one, your tea is the white one. Now, in this example, we're using my and your, which are possessive adjectives, connected to the object tea to show that the tea belongs to you and belongs to me. Now, we have specific forms when we're using this possessive adjective. So we have my from I, we have your tea from you, we have our tea from we, his tea from he, her tea from she, and their tea from they. This form is what you might call carente. It is needy, and it needs an object after it if we're to use it. If there is no object after, we can't use this form, and we use a different form which is called the possessive pronoun. Let's change the example. My cup is the red one, yours is the white one. Now, in this example, in the first clause, we're using the possessive adjective, my tea. And in the second, because we know that the context of the conversation is whose tea belongs to whom, we're using the possessive pronoun, which is yours. And in this form, there is no object with it. We know we're referring to the tea. Now, the form here becomes mine, ours, his, hers, theirs, and its. Good. So that's how we use the 2. Possessive adjective when there's an object, and when there's no object, then we'll be using the other form, this possessive pronoun. Now, to make things more complicated, I regularly hear students making mistakes with the expression a friend of, or a cousin of, or a colleague of, which is very similar to my friend, my colleague, my cousin. However, we use the first form, it's slightly more formal, it's more precise, and we can adapt it. A friend of, some friends of, that friend of, this friend of. whereas the other form is slightly more ambiguous. Now the confusion here is that often I hear students saying things like, she is a friend of mine. And as we saw before, unless there's an object, we can't use that form of this possessive adjective. So if we were to put the object afterwards, she is a friend of my friend, then the meaning would change to ela é uma amiga do meu amigo. Now this isn't the meaning we want. What we want to say that she is a friend of mine. And of course, if we change the association, then we have to change the type on the end. She is a friend of ours. She is a friend of yours. She is a friend of his. She is a friend of hers. She is a friend of theirs. Bem, eu espero muito que esse vídeo tenha sido útil para vocês. E sempre lembrando que se você quiser, o material complementar em PDF está disponível no link abaixo. E se você gostou do vídeo, compartilha com seus amigos. Falou!